Jalen Brunson just did something no one saw coming. He joined a list that only had Kobe Bryant on it. That's not a hot take. It's a fact. The only two players in NBA history to score over 100 points in the fourth quarter of their first 10 playoff games. Kobe and Jalen. That's it. And Brunson didn't need crazy athleticism or highlight plays to get there. He did it with control, patience, and guts. This is the same guy most teams passed on in the draft. A second-round pick, no hype, no big expectations. But now he's leading the New York Knicks to the Eastern Conference Finals for the first time in 24 years. That's not luck. That's years of work paying off. The Knicks didn't just find a good player. They found someone who knows how to show up when the moment gets tough. In tight games, when everything slows down and pressure kicks in, Brunson doesn't panic. He doesn't rush. He makes smart moves, hits big shots, and keeps his team locked in. That's why he was named the NBA's Clutch Player of the Year. He led the league in points during close games. And when the lights got brighter in the playoffs, he didn't fold, he turned it up. What makes this story wild is that it's not built on athletic gifts. Brunson isn't the fastest guy. He's not the tallest. He just plays smart basketball. He uses angles, timing, and confidence to break down defenses. That's what makes him dangerous. And now the league is starting to realize it. To understand how he became this good under pressure, you've got to go back before the Knicks, before the Mavs, before the NBA. It all started in gyms, locker rooms, and high school courts, where Jalen Brunson was already learning how to lead. Jalen Brunson didn't just wake up one day and decide to lead NBA teams. He grew up with the game all around him. His father, Rick Brunson, played in the NBA, and young Jalen spent time in locker rooms, watching how pros trained, talked, and prepared. It wasn't just about talent, it was about learning the mindset early. He saw what it took to play at the top level long before most kids even picked up a ball. And back in high school, it was clear he wasn't just another player. As a sophomore, Brunson led his team to the Illinois State title game. The team lost, but he made his presence known. The next season, he exploded for 56 points in a single playoff game, a record. Coaches and fans started to see that this kid wasn't normal. He played with control, took smart shots, and had that calm look you usually only see in seniors. He didn't slow down. By the time he was a senior, Jalen had become one of the top players in the state, twice named Gatorade Player of the Year. He also led his team to its first state championship, scoring 30 points in the final game and making every free throw he took. That ability to stay focused under pressure, he already had it back then. Scouts ranked him as the best point guard in his class, and his passing skills were praised across the country. But it wasn't just the rankings or awards. What set him apart was how he handled the spotlight. Even when everyone expected him to shine, he stayed humble and just played his game. That attitude stuck with him. He wasn't chasing attention, he was chasing wins. By the time college coaches came calling, Jalen had options, but he picked Villanova. Not the flashiest choice, but one that matched his mindset. Team first, hardworking, and built for winning. That decision turned out to be the next big step in a career that was just getting started. When Jalen Brunson stepped onto the court at Villanova, he didn't waste time making an impact. As a freshman, he was already part of a championship winning team. He hit clutch free throws in big tournament games and showed poise well beyond his years. Most young players struggled to adjust to the college level. Brunson didn't. He fit right in, played his role, and helped Villanova win it all. In his second year, he took on a bigger role and didn't disappoint. He averaged nearly 15 points a game and earned a spot on the All-Big East first team. But instead of jumping to the NBA, he made a choice most top players don't. He stayed for another season. That move turned out to be a game changer for both him and the program. By his junior year, Brunson wasn't just a good college player. He was the best in the country. He won almost every major Player of the Year award, including the Wooden Award and the Naismith Trophy. He was also named the top scholar athlete, proving he handled business off the court too. His leadership helped Villanova win another national title, and he led the team like a seasoned pro. What made him stand out wasn't just the numbers, it was how he controlled games. He knew when to slow things down, when to take over, and when to get his teammates involved. His understanding of the game was sharp, and his focus never slipped. No moment was too big. That's why people started calling him the best college player of the decade. Still, even with all the wins, awards, and respect, the NBA didn't see him as a sure thing. He didn't have the flash or the build teams usually look for in a top pick. That doubt would follow him to the draft, setting up the next chapter in a story that was already proving people wrong. Even after winning big in college, Jalen Brunson didn't get the respect most national champions receive. When the NBA draft came around, teams passed on him again and again. He wasn't picked until the second round. 33rd overall. That's a tough spot for someone who had proven he could lead, win, and deliver in pressure situations, but teams still questioned if his game would work in the NBA. Scouts had concerns about his size and quickness. At 6'2" with an average wingspan, some thought he'd struggle against faster, more athletic guards. Others said he wouldn't be able to defend well in the pros. He didn't have the flashy speed or vertical jump that gets front offices excited. On paper, he didn't check all the boxes they usually want in a modern point guard. Many reports labeled him a future backup at best. Some even compared him to solid but unspectacular names, guys who had decent careers but never became stars. Those labels stuck, and even though he had the resume, the leadership, and the IQ, teams still saw him as a risk. That's how he slipped out of the first round. The team that finally took him, Dallas, had already drafted Luka Doncic the same night. Most people thought Brunson would spend his career backing him up. The odds weren't in his favor. Second round picks don't get the same chances, and Brunson had to fight for every minute of playing time. But instead of complaining, he went back to work, just like he always had. He signed a deal that gave him more guaranteed years than most second rounders ever get. That move showed he believed in himself, even if the league didn't. The draft may not have gone his way, but Brunson wasn't done. He knew his moment would come. All he had to do was be ready when it did. Jalen Brunson's early years in Dallas were all about patience and persistence. He didn't walk into a starting role. The Mavericks had just picked Luka Doncic, and most of the offense ran through him. On top of that, Dallas kept signing other guards: Seth Curry, Josh Richardson, Trey Burke, guys who regularly took minutes from Brunson. But instead of backing down, he slowly carved out his space. By his third season, Brunson had become one of the most reliable players off the bench. He even finished fourth in Sixth Man of the Year voting. That was proof that he was more than just a role player. Still, when it came time to talk about a contract extension in 2021, Dallas didn't offer him a deal. He and his father were open to staying, even willing to accept less money, but the team never followed up. The front office had gone through changes. With new leadership, they wanted to wait and see more before committing, but that delay ended up costing them. Brunson played out the season, moved into the starting lineup, and helped lead Dallas to the Western Conference Finals. His value went up, way up. Suddenly, the player they didn't think was worth extending had become a hot name in free agency. Throughout the playoffs, Mark Cuban and the Mavericks sounded confident. They had Brunson's bird rights, which meant they could offer more money than other teams. The coach, Jason Kidd, even said one of his goals was to get Brunson paid. But despite all the talk, no real offer came from the front office. Brunson had given them every reason to invest, and they still hesitated. That decision turned out to be one of the biggest mistakes Dallas made in years. While they were busy chasing a second star to pair with Luka, they didn't realize they already had one. Brunson had proven he could lead, score, and handle pressure, yet the team let him walk, and that opened the door for a move that would change the course of his career. When the New York Knicks signed Jalen Brunson, a lot of people doubted the deal. The $104 million contract raised eyebrows, and critics said the Knicks had overpaid, but it didn't take long for Brunson to prove everyone wrong. From the very start, he gave New York something it had been missing for years: stability at point guard and a player who could lead without drama. In his first season, he posted career-high numbers across the board. His points went up, his assists improved, and he shot better from three. Even more impressive, he did all of this while taking on a bigger role in the offense. Most players see their shooting dip when they get more touches. Brunson got more shots and stayed just as efficient. That's the mark of a top-level guard. He didn't just boost his own stats, he helped turn the Knicks into a real contender. For the first time in 10 years, they won 45 games in a season. His leadership was felt in every corner of the team. Whether it was his calm presence during tight games or the way he carried himself off the court, Brunson set the tone. The fans noticed, the media noticed, and most importantly, the league noticed. By year 2, there were no more doubts. Brunson was named an All-Star and earned an All-NBA spot. His scoring average climbed to nearly 29 points per game, and his usage rate hit numbers usually reserved for stars like Harden and Luka. Yet he still played within the flow of the game. He didn't force shots. He controlled the pace, made smart smart decisions and stayed focused on winning. The Knicks doubled down in the summer of 2024 with a new 4-year, $156.5 million extension, and even at that price, it looked like a steal. Brunson wasn't just living up to expectations, he was raising the standard. In a city known for tough crowds and even tougher pressure, he had become the player New York could finally believe in. When games got tight, Jalen Brunson was the one who stayed calm. In the 2024-25 season, no one in the league delivered more in the final minutes than he did. He led the entire NBA in clutch scoring, averaging over 5 points per game during the closing moments of close contests. In those pressure-packed minutes, he shot over 50% from the field and 84% from the line. That kind of production isn't just good, it's rare. What made it more impressive was how consistent he was. Brunson played in 28 clutch games, and the Knicks won 17 of them. That's the kind of difference maker every team hopes for. Someone who shows up when everything's on the line. Whether the Knicks were up by a few or down in the final moments, they trusted Brunson to make the right play. He didn't shy away, he wanted the ball. In the playoffs, he raised his game even more. Despite dealing with ankle problems that forced him to leave multiple games, he kept coming back stronger. He scored 30 or more points in 5 of the 6 games against Detroit, including a 40-point performance to close out the series. And when the Knicks faced Boston, the defending champs, Brunson once again took control. In Game 4 of that series, he dropped 39 points, added 12 assists, and pulled down 5 rebounds. That night, he joined Kobe Bryant as the only players in NBA history to score over 100 points in the fourth quarter of their first 10 playoff games. That's not a stat you stumble into. That's the result of preparation, focus, and fearless execution under pressure. But it wasn't just about scoring. It was the way he led. His calm energy spread through the team. You could see it. When Brunson was steady, the whole squad followed. In those playoff battles, he didn't need to talk big or act loud. His performance did all the talking, and the league started listening. Jalen Brunson doesn't fit the mold of today's typical star point guard. He's not flashy, he's not high flying, and he doesn't rely on speed to beat defenders. What makes him special is how simple and sharp his game is. He wins with angles, smart footwork, and timing. Instead of blowing by defenders, he breaks them down with patience and precision. That's how he controls games without ever looking rushed. He's not just a scorer, he's a thinker. Brunson knows how to read defenders, spot weak points, and attack exactly where it hurts most. Whether it's drawing contact to get to the line or shifting gears to create space, everything he does has a purpose. And he does it without needing a highlight reel. That's what makes his game so effective and honestly so refreshing to watch. His ability to get to the free throw line is another key piece of his success. He finished top 5 in free throw attempts per game, not because of speed, but because of how well he sets up defenders to make mistakes. That takes skill, awareness, and a feel for the game that can't be taught. He's bringing back an old school style, but with a modern twist. Brunson doesn't call himself a superstar, he calls himself a hustle player. But his version of hustle is different. It's mental. It's about reading the game, staying 2 steps ahead, and keeping his cool when everything gets wild. He's not trying to be the loudest guy in the room, he's just trying to win, and he's doing it his own way. Now every year he's adding more scoring, more leadership, more playoff moments. He's not just having a good season, he's building something bigger, a legacy based on skill, heart, and doing things the right way. And if you're still wondering where he ranks among the best guards in the league, maybe it's time to stop asking and start watching. If you believe Jalen Brunson deserves more respect, drop a like, hit subscribe, and let us know in the comments. Is he the most underrated point guard in the NBA today? Stay locked in for more deep dive breakdowns, playoff analysis, and everything Knicks basketball, only on the channel where real fans get real stories.